On today's episode, I'm going to take you on a tour of my car and what I did. Stay tuned. So many questions about my car. Is it a paint job? Is that for real? Did you really do that? Is that a wrap? And so on today's episode, I'm going to tell you all about my car makeover. Okay, so let me start by saying I am a huge fan of Volkswagen Beetles. I've never had the old, original ones, but I've always had the remakes, and I've had 3 other Volkswagen Beetles before this one. And most of them were very old. One of them I kept for almost 10 years, and it was on its last leg when it finally died on me. And so when I bought this Beetle, I knew I wanted to do something to it, to personalize it. I wasn't really crazy about the colors of the modern Beetle right now. I didn't like any of them. The ones I've had in the past were lime green, and I really liked that because it was kind of fun, but they don't have that color anymore. So I knew I wanted to paint it, and I was thinking maybe I should paint it pink. But I also thought about possibly doing a wrap on it. And so I got this crazy idea. I've seen, we see commercial vehicles all the time with these wraps on it, telling about their business. And I thought, wouldn't it be fun if I could wrap my car? So I decided to look into it. So this is how it all began. So if you want to do something like this to your car, this is what you do. First, you need to find a place that specializes in car wraps. And you should look around, look at reviews, ask for word of mouth recommendations. It is really important that you don't go on the cheap to get just any old person doing this. And I knew I didn't want that because mistakes can happen and it's a lot of money. And I'm going to tell you about how much it is here at the very end. But so you want to get recommendations. And then second, you want to start thinking about the art. Now you can have an artist design something for you. You can hire artists. There is a website called Fiverr where you can do something like that. If you happen to know an artist or you are one yourself, you can do that. And so I wanted to use an artist's work because I am not an artist. I don't paint or anything. And so I kind of did a little solicitation game on Instagram, and I asked artists if they wanted to, give me a mock-up. And so I sent them pictures of my car, and I had several of them reach out to me with amazing designs because I love all of their art. And here you can see just some of them right here. So it was really, really hard to decide on which one I wanted. So I kind of narrowed it down to 2. And then finally I picked the one that I really loved the most and thought I wouldn't get tired of. And it is by Carrie Schmitt. I used her art. If you use another artist's art on your car, you do need to get permission from them. So it's not just something that you can do on your own. So make sure you get permission. A lot of times they would be thrilled to do it. Once you find your car wrap place that you want to use, send them the picture of the art and ask them if they have a designer who can match up the repeats for if you have something like what I'm doing, which is a floral. And the place I was working with did have a designer, and they could design it for the car wrap. And so I gave them, not only that, I gave them the mock-up of what I hoped it would look like to help them see the scale that I wanted these flowers to be. I didn't want it to be tiny. I wanted it to be very big and bold. And they were able to do it, and they did an amazing job. My car was in their shop, I think 2 to 3 weeks is how long it took. Really good places are going to be busy, so you're going to have to wait for a little bit, but it was totally worth it. Look how fun this is. Isn't this just the best thing ever? I keep telling people it's the best money that I've spent. So speaking of money, What I paid for this was $4,300 for a car wrap for my car. Now, I'm not sure if on bigger cars it's probably going to be more money, but this is something I factored into when I was looking for my car and looking at the price of what am I going to pay for my car. I knew I wanted to update it. So to paint a car, it's usually around $6,000 or more, depending on what you're doing with the paint. And so this was a little cheaper than that. But if you do get a wrap, there are some things that you need to know about it. You have to hand wash your car. You cannot put it through a car wash. And you also need to keep it under a protective covering, like your garage or a carport or something like that, which for me, putting it in my garage was kind of a big deal because if you know anything about my background, my garage is full of chairs. So I had to make a space that I could slide my car into to protect it from the weather and from the sun. Now, if you do these things, it can last 5 years or even longer than that if you take good care of your wrap. If you don't take care of it, it can last just a couple of years. So I'm planning on keeping mine for a very long time. Now, if this design on my car looks familiar, it's because it is Carrie Schmitt's art in her fabric that was used on my HDTV Magazine spread. And so you can see that here that this is featured in my kitchen at my table, and they also did a little feature on the chair in the magazine as well. Now, if you haven't downloaded my behind the scenes photo shoot guide freebie to tell you all about what this photo shoot was like when I had a group of professionals come into my home and photograph last September, you've got to download it. And I have a link in the description below. And have you picked up your copy of the latest HDTV magazine? I think this is one of the best issues that they've had, but I'm kind of biased on that. As always, I hope you enjoyed this show, and if you did, be sure to hit the like button below, subscribe to my channel if you haven't done so already, and let me know in the comments if you had the chance to do anything to your car, what would it be? I would love to hear about it.